Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. It's only the first damn week of 2022. And here we go. We got some big news to get into today. A significant day one addition to the Xbox Game Pass library. A bit of a clarification we have to make on Ubisoft's behalf. And much more to talk about in today's video. Plus, we also have a plethora of other news to get into later this week. 2022, as expected, is hitting the ground running. I don't expect this year to slow up at all, so everyone just take a deep breath, prepare yourselves, and now let's talk about the latest news. So I said there's a big day one Game Pass edition, and I've said for a while that Xbox needs to be aggressive in the early months with Game Pass because they have the ability to respond to a game that must be respected, and that's PlayStation's Horizon Forbidden West. I keep saying Xbox has some cool stuff coming up. We got Stalker, we've got Somerville, we've got Starfield at the end of the year, we've got in the summer Redfall. There are plenty of things to look forward to, but in the early parts of the year, it's kind of barren. So Xbox needs to respond, and I feel like Game Pass is the perfect way to do so. I do think they need one big game in February, so we're putting that out into the ether. And now, let's talk the latest in Xbox news. If you are new here, consider subscribing. Plenty of news, reviews, discussions to be had. And now let's get into it. So, the information comes from Ubisoft's own website where they write, Ubisoft announced that its Ubisoft Plus subscription service will be coming to Xbox in the future. Originally launched for PC, the service allows access to more than 100 Ubisoft titles at a single monthly cost, with games and DLC available on launch day, and monthly rewards including cosmetics, boosters, in-game items, and more. But that's not all. Ubisoft also announced that Rainbow Six Extraction will be a day one addition for Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass members, allowing them to play on Xbox consoles and PC right from the game's launch on January 20th. Rainbow Six Siege, already as available a part of the Xbox Game Pass program, will be available to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members the same day, giving PC players the chance to squad up for even more Rainbow Six action with their friends. Rainbow Six Extraction is a cooperative PvE experience that places players in the shoes of well-known Rainbow Six Siege operators with up to 3 friends, facing off against a mysterious alien menace that threatens life on Earth. With 18 operators to choose from and a variety of unique gadgets and weapons at their disposal, players will need to communicate and think tactically to take on their otherworldly adversaries and safely extract their captured teammates. By making Rainbow Six Extraction available to Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass members on the same day and date of its launch via Xbox Game Pass, we're demonstrating that we believe in the value and choice that the game subscription offers to players, said Chris Early, Ubisoft's Senior VP of Strategic Partnerships and Business Development. Rainbow Six Extraction for Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass members is just the beginning. Ultimately, we will offer the Ubisoft Plus subscription services to Xbox owners so that they can enjoy the full extent of our Ubisoft Plus game library, including new releases on their consoles. With Rainbow Six Extraction, Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass members are also getting another blockbuster added to their library on the same day the title launches, says Sarah Bond, Corporate VP, Game Creator Experience and Ecosystem at Xbox. And because Rainbow Six Siege will be on both Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass as well, the Rainbow Six community and fans of tactical shooters have plenty to look forward to playing together no matter where they play. Okay, a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to be excited about. For those who don't know, Rainbow Six Extraction is a $40 game. I've commonly seen people call it a $60 game. This is a $40 game. So you're still saving money either way, but I feel like that known perspective of just how much can help. First things first, I like that the first big Xbox Game Pass day one game of the year is both Xbox and PC Game Pass. When this whole day one thing started back in April of 2021 with Outriders, it was Xbox only. Same thing with MLB The Show. It was Xbox only. So seeing PC be a part of the fun here is a big step forward that we haven't talked about nearly enough because PC Game Pass is typically left in the dust. So I was thrilled just to see that alone, that everyone will be able to experience it together, and I think it's okay to be excited. Where, again, with things like Outriders, I remember being stoked and people going, I'm on PC, this doesn't matter to me, this is good for one part of the Xbox fan base. So I think, first and foremost, That should be applauded. That should also be the standard for the day one additions to the library. I know for separate deals, they can strike it up however they want, but I think day one, it should be all platforms. That's just good for all consumers. Now let's talk about the biggest misconception, which is Ubisoft Plus. So a lot of people read this as Game Pass is getting Rainbow Six Extraction day one, and also Ubisoft Plus is joining Xbox Game Pass. That is not what is happening here. Now, that's not saying it will never happen, as Ubisoft so clearly stated in a press release that had to be vetted 1,000,001 times. This is just the beginning. To me, my interpretation of that is Rainbow Six Extraction is a test run. It's a repackaging of reused assets from Rainbow Six Siege for the most part in a horde mode multiplayer-like game, which could really use Game Pass to have at this moment in time, we know 18 million players built in, and build a player base from the ground up and remove that barrier to entry with a great free-to-play multiplayer game lingering just 1 month ago being Halo Infinite. So I think it's a competitive move, I think it's a smart move, and it's the perfect game for a test run to see just how effective Game Pass can be for your games. And what this could lead to eventually is something like Ubisoft Plus coming into Game Pass. And I think the reason Xbox quite hasn't leapt to that yet is I do believe when Ubisoft Plus gets added, because we're talking about if it's the full feature package of Ubisoft Plus, which is day and date video games from Ubisoft, I do think there is the possibility that the price could go up. And Xbox needs to ensure that customers are ready for that if they're trying to grow it, right? We're looking at a service that they're putting in like trolley Brightworm packages and saying you get a month of this for $2 or you get 3 months for $1 if it's your first time signing up. Like, they're trying to make it accessible, marketable, really easy to leap in and say, all right, what's this about? I can spare $2. I can spare $1. Let's see what this is about. Oh my God, it's the whole library of games. I can play this, that. Right now, I think they're in the phase where they need to keep marketing it. I still don't think Game Pass is as mainstream as it needs to be, where it should be on the level of like Netflix, where everyone's talking about it. Most people who are interested in games, I think, should be looking into subscribing for it because it's just updating the catalog. You have access to so many different things at so many different times. It saves you money. You know the whole deal. So I think that needs to be considered, and it's why that deal hasn't been put into place yet. But this has been a rumor. For those who have been long-time Defining Duke listeners, you will know that the first ever episode was about a rumor for Uplay at the time coming into Xbox Game Pass. And that was from my buddy Jez Corden, who was saying, like, I've heard this has been rumbling for a while. So this has been developing for about a year. I think this game, Rainbow Six Extraction, is a good game for Ubisoft to pull the trigger for. For fans, I'm not too, out of everything else coming out in 2022, crazy about what I'm seeing with Rainbow Six Extraction. I'm not expecting much. It looks okay. That's a whole other conversation that I've gone into 1,000,001 times. I think we really got lucky with something like MLB The Show. That was a great game to get day one on Game Pass. I think Outriders, while it had its issues, now post-patch and everything running, I mean, that is a phenomenally fun game. One of my top 5s from 2021. We did get Back 4 Blood, which flopped for a lot of people. So we're still seeing, I guess for a lot of people, the cheapo route. And I do understand that perspective because, again, we have yet to see that like big single player dominant game that I don't think you have a question about its quality coming into the launch. It's more like, well, I guess I'll try it now. That's constantly happening, again, outside of, I think, MLB The Show being that one title that people would have paid for, and they're like, oh, it's here, great. I do think that perspective is understandable, but I don't want to judge Rainbow Six Extraction too hard before it gets here. And again, I'm not going to argue with money saved at the end of the day, but we do need to talk about that just a little bit. So now Ubisoft Plus is here on the Xbox consoles. You could sign up for that. I think Ubisoft is going to learn really quickly that people are more likely going to sign up for Game Pass over Ubisoft Plus because they're roughly the same price tag, if I remember correctly. And we're talking about Ubisoft at honestly one of their lowest, creatively, morally, ethically. I mean, there's just a lot going wrong with Ubisoft where I don't see many people springing for this, at least in the core gamer circle. Beyond that, you know, the likes of Assassin's Creed and Far Cry being these big deal games, I can see some people hopping into it. One thing I did want to bring up with Rainbow Six Extraction in the same breath of mentioning, like, hey, it's another multiplayer game. We don't have that true single player experience that has come day one to Game Pass. And I get that's going to be a tough sell, but I do think that Xbox needs to make that happen somewhere along the line that's outside of their first-party offerings. Like, we can expect Starfield to be one of those things. The Halo Infinite campaign is one of those things, given that co-op isn't there at launch. So they do offer it on a first-party level, and I do appreciate that. But I want to see what they can swing on a third-party basis. That's sort of what I'm looking for. I'm not playing the whole dissatisfied consumer 24/7 approach, so I keep getting cool things. It's just, this is where I'm looking at the next logical step. That's where the next big bang for Game Pass happens in my eyes. But this is absolutely a great move. I'll be trying it out. I imagine a lot of you will be trying out. We'll be talking about it on the channel, of course, because now with it being a part of Game Pass, it's a lot more of a interesting review to make. Like, instead of do you buy it, it's do you download it. So we'll be looking into it together. Ubisoft is always really cool with review codes. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of the big news for Xbox Game Pass and its day one editions plus Ubisoft Plus heading to the service? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think is coming in the future? Like Ubisoft said, this is just the beginning. So what's next for them? Let me know. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. A big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Love you all. Stay sexy, stay active. Love you all again. Peace.